Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and in this video, we're going to do a match analysis between a 5-0 player and a 5-5 player. Coming up. All right, so now let's jump into some net points, right? So we got 2 points we're going to look at. We've got Matthew serving right here on the near side and Dylan receiving on the far side, okay? So let's check these out. Kick serve, right? And we can tell it's a kick serve by looking at the position of the toss here and the contact. Contact's taking place over here. It's too far to the left to be a flat serve. Flat serve or slice would take place a little bit more over here, right? So we see an obvious kick serve situation. Dylan's inside the baseline in zone 3 trying to take time on the return. See what he does. It's a really nice return. So he's got a really aggressive position there. Well inside the baseline, right? Trying to take time. He does that. Could have been a little bit deeper, but I like the shot. I like the pace. Matthew does a really good job here of getting low on his one-hander, hitting from a semi-open stance, coming through, maintaining a good contact position. Remember, on a one-hander, you want that contact to be well out in front of your body. He does a good job of doing that, even though he's rushed by the return, okay? So he's rushed, rolls it up, and surprises Dylan a little bit on this shot, catches him on the back foot, moves around to hit the heavy forehand. Dylan with a nice backhand. Get into a little bit of this slice battle. This is also something, I know we're going to talk about the net here a little bit, but something Dylan has some trouble with is all of Matthew's slicing. Matthew has a really effective slice. It's a really good technique and shot. And Dylan just looks a little uncomfortable here as he bends down to hit these slices, okay? So as he moves to the ball, and as he approaches the ball, he looks uncomfortable by the slice. Now, it's a good shot, but he's got to be more firm with that in the future and understand where is it bouncing, where do I need to be, and how do I attack this, okay? Rolls up on it. Matthew again here, slice, right? But this time a little shorter, more of a drop shot. And Dylan starts scrambling forward to hit the shot, and he looks uncomfortable. His spacing is incorrect as he approaches, and he tries to back away from the ball. So he's too close to the ball as he's running up to it here. And then as he approaches, he realizes he's maybe a little too close, and then he tries to back away to his right, and then he ends up making an error there. But he just looks extremely uncomfortable approaching. So let's go again. Rolls up. Runs up. Has to adjust his body at the last second. You can see how uncomfortable he is in this position right here, right? And then from there, he ends up hitting that approach into the net. So the point itself wasn't a bad point. Go back a little bit. Started it really well. Love the return. Matthew neutralizes. Dylan's in a little trouble there. Does a good job, though. Does a good job with that backhand. Here comes a slice. Coughs it up a little short. Rolls short. And then there. And a player at this level too, Matthew, he's going to realize really quickly if you're having trouble with certain types of balls. Okay, so he realizes the slice is causing problems and it's uncomfortable for Dylan, so he's going to use that slice as much as he can, okay? Let's move on to the next point here. We've got another net point coming. Again, we can see the kick serve coming, right? Look at the contact here that we're seeing. And the positioning of the racket leading up to the contact. Also look at the position of the body, okay? Obvious kick serve. Dylan is well inside the baseline. I like this position on second serve returns. He does a great job of robbing Matthew of time by getting inside the court. Does a good job there. Gets decent depth. Probably back to zone 2 right here. Matthew steps around to hit a forehand. Does that, rolls up. Dylan with the forehand. Comes the chip. Dylan approaches, and I really like Dylan's approach here, right? He steps around, which does leave him open on this side of the court, but he's really aggressive with his body and his position here. So he's getting really aggressive with the swing. Matthew even is looking for the ball to go this way, but you can see it is going to go this way. Approaches down the line. Could have got a little more depth to help him out, okay? Get that ball back here against a player of this caliber, right? This level. Matthew's in trouble. He's backing up here. He's coming way under the ball. When we drop our racket this much under the ball, we're going to be rolling up on the ball or hitting an angle, okay? And he tries to hit the angle. You can see it. See, he goes for it. And again, this racket's 3-4 feet below the ball, the contact. He's gonna try to either roll up high or dip it low, okay? You can see it, he tries to dip low, tries to get the angle. Dylan covers it really well. I like this volley, it's nice and firm. Matthew scrambles, pops up the lob, and we can see the lob coming just based on the racket face, okay? Look at the racket face angle. Pretty open. Then he sort of taps up on the ball there, taps up and under here, tap. Gets Dylan out of position. And the reason Dylan's out of position, though, is because Dylan hits his volley here, right? Matthew scrambles, and Dylan at this point should know this is not going down the line. A good player, what they're going to do with their lob is they're going to try to lob over your back shoulder this way, okay? So if you're going to hit an overhead, they're going to try to make you hit an overhead from the ad side of the court, not from the deuce side of the court, the stronger side of the court, okay? So that's what he does, pops it, tries to go to the weak side. Dylan's in a scramble position. He should have recovered earlier over here to avoid this. Hits right up the middle. Matthew chips it again. Dylan drops it short. And then we've got Matthew with a finish right there. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Pops it up. We have the overhead short right to the middle. You can tell this is not going to be, in this situation, a lob just because the racket face angle is more closed off here. Okay, it's flat. Drops it short. Dylan was not sure what was coming. He hesitates right here. You can see Dylan hesitate with his movement. Watch here, hesitates, doesn't sure what to do, and then drops it short over on this side, okay? So net-wise, that's some of the stuff that's really hurting Dylan, whether it's the uncomfortability of a short ball, you know, that slice coming in, or trying to hit touch volleys. He struggles with some of those things, and it's gonna shine through against somebody at this level. And let's just look at the numbers really quick up on the screen, right? We've got Dylan winning 5 out of 14 net points, which is 36%. And we've got Matthew winning 11 out of 16 net points, which is 69%. So Dylan's winning about a third of his points up in the net, right? So we know he needs to get more comfortable approaching. He needs to get more comfortable handling his slice. And he needs to get more comfortable with his hands up there, his touch, his feel, and just his natural movement to the ball. All right, so let's talk about intangibles, right? Something that I like to call counters and something I like to call damage. So those are just different types of shots. So a counter is a situation where your opponent hurts you or damages you, and then you're able to turn it around on them and then counter them either by neutralizing the situation, damaging them back in return, or hitting a winner, okay? So let's look at some points now and look at our player's ability to counter. All right, so we've got Dylan serving right here from the ad side. Let's see how this point plays out. We have a definite kick serve here. Now, in terms of injury and trying to stay healthy, this does concern me a little bit in terms of Dylan's positioning with the kick. Look at how far back behind that kick serve is and the position of his body. My concern here is potential injury to the back or injury to the shoulder because of the extreme positioning of the ball toss. It's dangerous for him. He's young now, but it's something you may want to clean up as you move forward with your tennis in the future just to help prevent injury, okay? You can see that kick go in. Matthew reads it. And I love this on the return. This is what Dylan did. They did the same thing. Matthew takes this super early, right? As a one-handed backhand player, whether it's a ground stroke or a return, your goal is to not let balls get above your shoulder. You got to take them early or you got to back up and let them drop. Matthew does an amazing job of taking this early and cranking it deep cross. Just cracks that. That's insane, okay? That's a great return. Great hands. Dylan shows remarkable hands. This is what we were talking about before. Dylan's preference to take backhands a lot of times on serve plus ones. Well, he has really good control over his hands from really poor positions. And I think that's one of the reasons Dylan likes to do it. So right here, Dylan gets a ball, I don't know, 3 inches off the ground at contact, maybe. Look what he does with it. It's an incredible pickup. It's a great shot. Look at the depth on that. Deep in zone 3, right? Finds depth from a really, really tough position. Matthew's now on his back foot. He tries to roll up and he makes the error, right? Because Dylan does damage. So Dylan counters out of this situation. That's kind of the main point we're talking about, right? Matthew does damage with this nuclear return. Dylan takes this and he's able to counter damage Matthew off a really, really difficult ball. So countering something that you can work on And you can learn by watching both of these players just by forcing yourself into really tough positions, whether it's through drilling or training, whatever you're doing, forcing yourself in really tough positions, working a lot on serve and return, because that's a lot of times where balls are going to come really fast, and just working on your hands like that. So really amazing hands by Dylan in that point. Let's move on to the next point now. Now we've got Matthew serving from the ad side, right? We've got Dylan getting ready on the baseline. So let's see what we have. Definitely more of a kick serve situation. Right here, right? Contact. You can see that. Body a little more closed off at contact. We've got a kick. Dylan moves in. Takes that ball from zone 3 inside the baseline. Okay. Gets that pace. Did something similar in another point, but trying to get pace up the middle, right? And he does that. Doesn't get as much depth as he wants. If he gets more depth, he probably forces an error here, right? Does damage though. Matthew's got that large swing on the forehand. He's got that big tilt, right? A little less tilt would help him get through these quicker, but he hits off the back foot. I do like the contact point out in front, and he really rolls up on that and goes behind Dylan, okay, to try to wrong foot him. And he does that. You can see he counters this damage from Dylan. Dylan does a good job here getting him on the back foot, but Matthew counters by rolling up and behind his opponent to try to wrong foot the opponent, okay? He does that. He gets good depth here and gets Dylan in a position now where Dylan's on his back foot and he's in a defensive position. So he went from offense to defense, so successful counter by Matthew. Dylan hits short. That's what Matthew wants. Matthew comes up, hits a slice. Dylan hits a neutral ball, an in-play ball. Matthew with a slice again. Dylan slices, bails out on that one because it was a tough one for him. Something you can learn here with the one-hander too. Low ball, right? Matthew knows a low ball's coming, and why does he know a low ball's coming? Because Dylan's moving around here to hit a forehand slice, right? You can see Dylan hitting the forehand slice. He's got a low position with his body. Slice is low and short, and Matthew really does a good job of just bending his knees and getting his base down, right? Look at the position of the hips, the feet, big wind up, takes it out in front, hits it down the line and does damage. Now he's got Dylan scrambling. Dylan scrambles over, hits another short ball because it's a tough ball. Matthew decides, hey, I'm going to get lower because this one's even lower. So really look at how low he is as he's moving to this ball. Super low. Gets below the ball. Look at that racket head dip below. Rolls up, crushes it, and then forces the air. So let's just go back for a second to the original counter, right? Hits the kick serve. Dylan does a great job taking it early. Gets him on his back foot. A little more depth could have helped him even more, right? Matthew rolls up and hits behind his opponent, who is split stepping this way. You can see Dylan here, watch. Look at the split. He is splitting and going that way on the split, okay? So his weight's carrying him the other direction. Matthew goes behind him. That forces a short ball here, and then the point kind of plays out from there. But really good countering from both of our players. Really enjoyed, doing the stats and analysis for the match. Really fun to watch. Dylan's a really good tennis player. He's doing a great job. And Matthew plays excellent tennis as well. And the last stat will pop up on the screen is the counter battle, right? So who made more counters? Both players did damage to each other 27 times in the match, so they both had the same number of opportunities to counter their opponent. Matthew won the counter battle 7-6, which is super close. It could have gone either way. Dylan had a lot of really nice counters in the match, but again, remember, you can work on your counters by forcing yourself to hit balls from positions where you don't have time. So practice a lot of serving, a lot of returning, and do drills that force you to hit really tough defensive balls. That wraps it up for our 5-0 versus 5-5 match play analysis. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Support us by doing that. We'll bring you more videos like this. Leave a comment in the comments section below if there's anything else you want to see analyzed in this match. Thanks again, Dylan, for providing this video. Check out his channel, Dill Plays. I'm Jason Frausto. We'll see you next time.